So Nina Turner was on NewsNation, and she was blasting Jamie Harrison. Jamie Harrison is currently the head of the DNC. He said he's not running for re-election. Let me do my Trump dance. Because Jamie Harrison is horrible. I don't think Jamie Harrison is a bad guy. I don't. I think he's a loyal Democrat. He got a nice looking family. Been married to his wife is a lawyer. Cute kids. He's always going to keep a job in the Democratic Party because people like Jamie Harrison, right? They don't like Nina Turner because Nina Turner she tells the truth. Like I feel like if the Harris campaign would have listened to Nina Turner, I think they might have had a better shot. Nina Turner was basically saying stuff that I would hear on Tim Black or Black Truth or the Young Turks. Like she was talking about progressives and black voters and what the Dems need to do to win. But people say, "Oh no, Nina, you're a hater. Who cares about Nina Turner?" Well, the only thing I know is Kamala lost, and Nina Turner. Some of the things that Nina Turner was saying on CNN was kind of true. But I digress. So here's the thing about Jamie Harrison. So Jamie Harrison ran for Senate in South Carolina against Lindsey Graham. And listen, one of these days, Lindsey Graham is going to lose. They all lose. Hell, in Ohio, we just lost Sherrod Brown to some used car salesman. How does this even happen? My poor Ohio, man. We are going down fast. We are going down so fast. But yeah, so one of these days, Lindsey Graham's going to lose, but he was not going to lose against Jamie Harrison. That's not going to happen in South Carolina. So Jamie Harrison lost. But Jamie Harrison has a guardian angel, and that guardian angel is Jim Clyburn. He worked for Jim Clyburn once upon a time. Jim Clyburn and him are still close. And Biden always feels like Jim Clyburn delivered black voters in South Carolina to him. I don't think Jim Clyburn delivered black voters to Joe Biden. I think black voters in South Carolina said, well, either Trump or Biden. Okay, we went with Biden. That's it. That's it. It wasn't like people were sitting around saying, ooh, I wonder what Jim Clyburn's going to say. It's like, no. Jim Clyburn endorsed Biden, which is fine, but people made up their own minds. But Jamie Harrison was cool with Clyburn. Clyburn said, hey, Joe, Jamie's a good guy. Can we give anything? Can we give him a job or something? And then Joe put Jamie in charge of the DNC. People get hooked up in politics all the time. You can send in your resume, but for the most part, the people have more connections. They get hooked up. If you look at the RNC chair is Laura Trump, like Trump's daughter-in-law. She has no business being the RNC chief. Before that was Mitt Romney's niece, and then Trump didn't like her and he installed his daughter-in-law. But she has no business being there. But it doesn't matter if it's Trump with Laura or Biden with Jamie. The presidents are really in charge of the DNC. They're really the heads of this stuff. Their jobs, Laura's job and Jamie's job, is just be a game manager and just make sure everything's running smoothly, and that's it. Just the day-to-day operations. Jamie Harrison was not selected for his great political mind, a great strategy, which should have been more in play when the Dems started losing seats in 2022. When they started losing seats in 2022, Jamie Harrison should have became more of a strategist and more of a leader, saying like, hey, President Biden, we're losing seats. And for us to stem this tide in 2024, we got to enact some type of plan, but he didn't do it because he's a game manager. Not a bad guy, just a game manager. I'm old enough to remember Howard Dean as DNC chair. Like Tom Perez I'll get to Howard Dean in a second. So before Jamie Harrison was Tom Perez, and Tom Perez was actually a pretty decent DNC chair. The thing is, he was like a really good PR DNC chair. He was on Meet the Press and Face the Nation and Stephanopoulos and CNN and MSNBC. He was always talking about the presidential election and congressional seats. Like he was out in the open promoting candidates, promoting the Democratic Party. I didn't see Jamie Harrison out there. He might have done it once in a while. So when Harris lost, it's like, well, who was in charge of the DNC? And they said Jamie Harrison. It's like, where's he been? Like he should have been out there fighting. And he was not, but that wasn't his job. So Howard Dean was the DNC chair in 2005 to 2009. So he caught the Obama wave in 2007 and 2008. So most times when you mention Howard Dean, people remember the screen speech. The screen speech was when he was running for president in 2004. And he said, we're going to South Carolina and North Carolina and New York and Ohio and Wisconsin. And then we're going to Florida. Yeah. That's what people think of Howard Dean, right? But there was a story after that. The story was he became the DNC chair and he implemented a 50-state strategy. 50-state strategy is we're going to go to every city, every state, every county and fight for those seats. Even if we lose, we're going to fight. And that should always be the DNC strategy, especially now. When you look at that map, like Trump took a whole heck of a lot of states in 2024. It's almost reminiscent of the Reagan map in 1984, which was like it was almost like completely red. Mondale won like 13 electoral college votes. It was completely red. So, but that changed when Clinton ran in 91, 92. When he ran, Clinton kind of ran his own form of the 50-state strategy because Clinton grew up in a trailer. He grew up poor, grew up in the South. So even though the state was pretty red because after that was George Herbert H.W. Bush, he came after Reagan, and it was still pretty red. Not as red as Reagan, but it's still pretty red. But Clinton said, hey, man, I'm just going to campaign and just go into these southern states. And I don't know if I'm going to get them or not, but I'm going to try. So he went through the southern states, the Midwest. And he was relatable, right? Clinton went to McDonald's. He was a chubby guy at that point. He cheated on his wife, all American stuff. But he was very smart. He was a very skilled political guy. And his 50-state strategy worked, and he ended up being a 2-term president. Well, Howard Dean, watching how successful Clinton was, even though Clinton, term 2, he moved to the right and he lost a lot of his, people who were more progressive. He lost a lot of those people just because he moved center right because he was trying to save his own skin. Howard Dean saw what Clinton was doing. It's like, hey, we can do the same thing. And he did. He implemented a 50-state strategy. And then Barack Obama popped up in 07, 08. And you have to think, when Bush beat Kerry, there was no leadership in the Democratic Party. People thought that Hillary Clinton was going to run in 08, and she did. But as far as leadership goes and direction and a focus and a vision, there was none of that in 2005. At 2004 going to 2005. It's the same. 2024 is very reminiscent of 2004 because right now the Democratic Party has no vision. They have no leadership. They don't have anything. And it's very reminiscent of 2004. The difference is in 2024, there's no leader at the Democratic Party who's going to give us a vision. 2004 going to 2005, you got Howard Dean, and he gave the Dems that vision. You combine that with Barack Obama, politically skilled, good-looking guy, very charismatic, was able to connect with people, no matter white collar or blue collar, same qualities that Bill Clinton had. And you combine that strategy of Dean's and Barack Obama's political skill, and it was and as bad as George W. Bush was going into it. You combine all those things together, and Barack won big. Well, the Dems need to find their Howard Dean, and it can't be a guy like Jamie Harrison. They need to find a person who has strategy, skill, able to connect with people, but is not beholden to anybody. Howard Dean wasn't beholden. He wasn't beholden to the Clintons. He wasn't beholden to anybody. We need an independent Democratic person. I keep on saying we, apologize. But the Dems need an independent person who's going to say, this is what we're going to do to win. We're going to have to go after every state. We're going to find better candidates. We're going to find out what the voters really want. We got to get back the young people. We got to get back the blue collar workers. We got to reinforce our connection with black voters because we're slowly losing them as well. We have to figure out how to increase our Latino vote and Latina vote because they're really moving right. Like there's a lot of things that the Dems have to think about and the Dems have to do. But if they stick with the same mindset, the same Jamie Harrison, Biden mindset, they're going to keep losing. They got to be forward thinking. They got to be progressive. They got to go after independent voters. They got to go after voters who didn't vote. There's still a lot of people who don't vote. What's their concerns? The Democratic Party has to change who they are. If not, they're going to keep on losing seats and keep on losing seats. And hell, who knows? 4 years from now, it might be a 1984 Ronald Reagan map where everything is red. Everything is red. So if the Dems want to avoid that, they got to find their own Howard Dean and avoid the Jamie Harrisons. So what do you think? What do you think the Dems need to do? Be nice. But overall, yeah, what do you think the Dems need to do? Should it be more progressive? Who do you think should be the next leader? I don't know. But they got to find their own Dean. Yeah. Or hire me. Oh, that'd be insane. They would find me way faster than Jamie Harrison because I got too many ideas.